are making a splash across Davos, and it's not just at the Europe Hotel, which I'm standing in front of. I have with me Preeti Rathi Gupta and Riddhi Dugarsi, founder and co-founder of an organization called LXME, but not spelt typically like Lakshmi. Preeti and Riddhi, thank you so much for your conversation. Let's start with explaining to our viewers what this company is all about. What is the aim?
So Tamanna, thank you for speaking to us. You know, I've been in the financial services industry for almost 2 decades. And one of the biggest realization was this gap that exists between women and money. Lakshmi aims to solve that. For ages, we've thought of financial inclusion as access to credit. Financial inclusion truly means that every woman has access to all financial products, which help her save, which help her build her financial security, build her wealth, as well as the families. And I think that's what Lakshmi as a platform is solving and has started solving.
You, of course, Preeti, started the iconic Anand Rathi, services along with your dad, when you were a child?
Well, I guess so.
And you're bringing some of those learnings to this new venture.
Absolutely. I think, in fact, the way I'd put it, Tamanna, is the learnings there are more around financial product, which one is suitable for what behavior. But I think the learnings we've got on Lakshmi has been completely different because it's been full of aha moments, because we realized that what's worked, traditional finance, has not worked for women. You won't see, if you look across, there are barely 10 to 15% women on, say, digital platforms or actually having agency over their money. Why is that? We have 50% of the workforce, 50% of the population, increasingly, inching closer to 40% in workforce. Graduating at equal numbers, postgraduate probably higher. Why is it that there's such a big gap in money? And that behavior is what we've understood in the last 5 years we've built Lakshmi. What is it that needs to be done? For example, our assessment was that let's build an investment platform for women and women will come to us. It was a realization we got to go where they are, where they are interacting with money. Which is their cash flows, which are their household expenses, school fees. This is where women are actually interacting with money. And that's where you need to go in and embed this entire journey of, what we call the financial inclusion.
So, very basic question, but some would argue that women who want to invest or create wealth have more than enough options. Why do you need gender-specific outreach? It's not as if a woman can't go and invest in any platform, any kind of an asset class. What is the thought there? How are you differentiating from what is available to women?
So you know what, we did a lot of study on this. We studied thousands of women, and what we realized is no one servicing mass middle income India, which is 60% of India. So there are wealth managers for the 1%, but who's servicing the professional or the homemaker? She's buying gold, or she's putting money in her cupboards or in a savings account, and it's not growing. She's losing out to inflation. So no one is actually servicing them. And now to retire rich. So there's this interesting statistic. Women retire with 1/5 the wealth of men, right? And that's because they are fabulous earners, they're fabulous budgeters, they're fabulous savers, but they're not growing their money. So what we are looking to do is democratize access to the capital markets. But the issue is other financial platforms actually start with transaction first, because that's how men build trust. They start with transaction first. For women, first you need to build the trust, then they transact. And which is why we are first actually starting with community and literacy. And we've just launched Lakshmi Pay, which is for India's first UPI for women. So there's 200 million women on UPI, but a fraction of that actually accessing the capital markets. So we build trust and habit with UPI, literacy, we give her support where she needs it the most, and then we are basically helping her take charge to achieve her financial dreams and build financial security.
How is this message coming together on a platform like the World Economic Forum and Davos? And because that's where our conversation is taking place, how have you managed to push that message across here?
Well, I think it was brilliant because one, we were invited to speak here, which itself says a lot on what we are building. And I think it was the right time for us because today, Tamanna, we actually have the blueprint for what it takes for what the world is trying to solve. It's a global problem. It's not just India. Women and wealth is a gap that exists, and everybody's been trying to see how to solve it. I've been saying this again and again. I think as a country, with our infrastructure, the DPI being a huge catalyst, where we can actually embed right from where where a woman starts interacting with money to, savings, investing, and then eventually borrowing if she needs to. That entire connected journey. And that's a blueprint we have. In fact, yesterday we released a preview of the report that we're doing end of February. We're releasing in India, which Eva and us have put together, which actually talks about what could be the most successful model to have women not just have access, but also agency. I think that's that one piece that we don't talk about enough. Women earn money, but do they actually decide what's going to happen to that money? That agency to make it time efficient, to make it, to make her confident in taking that decision is what Lakshmi solves for.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
And there's this amazing awareness now that ensuring women have agency over their wealth is not equality. It's not just equality. It's actually a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity.
So just as we wrap up, at least in the last 1 year, Indian women have turned out to be the wisest investors because they traditionally look at gold, has shown superlative returns versus equity markets. If some of the conversation of what you're trying to do is getting women to invest in capital markets versus gold, which has comfort, how would you do that in a year after gold has given such fabulous returns?
Well, I think, one of the things, and that's proven by, statistics, is that women make for great investors, because I think we understand the concept of asset allocation even before the term was coined, right? So we've always been putting money in different baskets. I think while gold has done really well, it is the other places where we're putting money, which is not inflation beating. And let's also look at a long-term vision, right? While gold has done fabulously well over the last 2 years, if you historically look at last 20 years, gold has given you a 8% return, which barely meets a middle income person's, inflation, right? Which is pegged at anywhere up around 10%, because we put money or we spend money into things where inflation is 12%, 14%, like ordering food or theaters or, travel. So I think really understanding that asset allocation, while she continues to put some money in gold, not all her money in gold, over a long-term vision, and saying, how do I achieve all my financial goals by doing this right? Don't put all eggs in one basket theory that we know so well, is what we're doing. And it is, like you rightly said, I think it needs a lot of literacy. It needs that understanding of saying, while gold may have given these returns for 2 years, it's not something that will consistently outperform all other asset classes. And in order to get a consistent return, you have to asset allocate and put some money into inflation beating asset classes, which are equities. And not just equities, we actually, even when women put their money in savings bank account or fixed deposits, there's a smarter way of doing that. How do you use debt funds to create your emergency funds, or to sort of move between all your fixed income, even within that, to an asset allocation? Even buying gold, how do you do that more smartly? Women have bought gold physically, and now if you look at that, typically you lose close to 8% upfront. So how do you do it smarter? And we have women asking, I can't wear gold in my ears. And we are like, whenever you want to buy it, all you need to do it, start investing in gold mutual funds or gold ETFs. And then when you want to buy gold, you'll be able to buy more. So just the right and smart ways also of investing. And trust us, I think the women that are there on the platform, we have close to 1 million women on the platform. Once they've learned this, you have to see how the asset allocation is. Across the platform, when we look at asset allocation of all the women that are invested, it's absolutely bang on, 65% into equity, 30% into debt, and the rest in gold.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies, and most luck and power to you.
Thank you.